Welcome, everybody, to the Hypetrain podcast. My name is Hannes, and I'm joined by my co-host, the Rocky Balboa to my Apollo Creed, Mr. Martin Molin. How are you doing, my dear friend?
I'm very good. My dear friend Hannes. Can I just ask you, Apollo Creed and Balboa, now I'm going to show my ignorance, but they were kind of arch enemies, weren't they? Or were they a duo?
Yep, Rocky 2, they were fighting each other, but in Rocky 3, they needed to become friends.
Okay.
They needed each other. It was a rivalry that blossomed into a friendship. And if you watched the latest movies, the Creed movies, Rocky is now training Apollo's son. So yeah.
So where has our rivalry been actually then, for the analogy to make perfect sense?
You don't need to analyze this too deeply. I was just listening to the epic score of Creed when I was walking to the office today. So I was just thinking about Rocky today.
Okay. Do you hear this sound, Hannes?
Yes. And if I close my eyes, it could be not rosé because I hear ice cubes, but it could be rum and coke or something nice.
French are very particular with wine, of course, because wine was invented here. I'm going to show my ignorance again. But actually in south of France, an ice cube in the rosé wine is socially totally accepted. So every time I go out, you get ice on the table.
Ah.
But this is actually ice coffee. Mmm.
Wow. I'm jealous.
I got a lot of questions about how I possibly could be hungover on 4 glasses of rosé from the last episode.
Are you still hungover or what?
No. But people were like, that doesn't really add up. Either I miscounted or I'm just not trained enough or the glasses were really big.
Or perhaps you were working quite hard for a long time and finally relaxed a bit and then just attacked you.
Yeah, some kind of Jon Snowflake gene was maybe involved. How have you been, honest? I have heard a rumor that you are having an epic vacation. Is that true?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm truly enjoying myself on this vacation. I'm doing exactly the things I've planned to do. So I've only been eating, training, and gaming for the first half of the week now. It's been awesome. I'm only focusing on myself. I have no plans whatsoever. Been focusing on getting my diet right and training as much as I can. Been taking a lot of long walks and hitting the gym quite hard. And besides that, I've been at my office playing video games non-stop.
Wow.
Yeah. That is my vacation and I'm loving it so far. It's so good.
That sounds amazing. So what games have you been playing?
First, I bought Control, which is the Finnish studio Remedy's latest game. They are the developers behind Max Payne and Alan Wake and such titles, so I knew it will at least be kind of cinematic storytelling. They're quite good at that. They're like Hideo Kojima with the Metal Gear series. So they strive to have a little more movie-like storytelling. It was quite nice, kind of like a hybrid between X-Files and Fringe, the TV show. So there was a lot of paranormal activities going on that you needed to stop. Quite repetitive in the end. 3 out of 5.
Oh.
But enjoyable nonetheless.
Good but not fantastic. That's the doom on any creative creation. 3 out of 5.
I enjoyed it at least. I wasn't angry at it. It had a lot of good ideas and fun gameplay, at least.
Do you think there is someone in the world who has written 3 out of 5 on their tombstone?
I would be happy if my tombstone said that.
My guess is there's 100 tombstones on planet Earth saying 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Thumbs up. It was an okay life. And right after Control, I switched over to another game I've been curious about for a long time, and that's Nier Automata. Something like that. I don't know how it's pronounced, but The basics of it is kind of a JRPG game, so it feels kind of like Final Fantasy, but they have mixed it up with more platforming and hack and slash action, so it changes gameplay all the time. So from one moment you're having a role-playing experience, and then it switches up to become something like Starwing or Star Fox, and then it switches up to be like Shadow of the Colossus with gigantic boss fights. And yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it. It's a real surprise for me. So far, 5 out of 5.
Oh, wow.
But I've only been playing 10 hours.
Can you translate for us newbies JRPG? What's that?
Japanese role-playing game.
Ah, Japanese. So that's a whole genre.
Yeah.
Ah, wow.
They're like the fathers of the RPG games on consoles at least. And the Western RPGs are a whole different experience. It reminds me a lot of early Final Fantasy games, which I like.
I started my gaming career on a JRPG where you're playing two plumbers. There's like one plumber you never care about. He's like this strange white, green plumber, and you only have to deal with him if you're gonna play 2-player. There's not a lot of dialogue. It's very repetitive dialogue. It's mostly like, sorry, but the princess is in another castle. And then at the end scene, spoiler alert, you found the princess. The relationship between the plumber and the princess is building very like slowly. It's very like
cinematic storytelling.
Yeah. It's like the shark, you know? It's like you don't see the shark, you don't see the princess. It's like the tension is building.
This sounds amazing. I want to get you into video gaming somehow.
Yeah, I want to do it your way, like binge play.
Yeah.
Not have it as an addiction in my everyday, but like once in a while go in for the full experience.
Yeah, best way to do it. Immerse yourself completely for a couple of days.
I have to say that my journey with the Wheel of Time book series have become more immersive in the last book I'm reading. I think I'm in book 5, Shadow Rising. The side characters are developing in cool ways. I'm a little bit addicted to reading it now. I really want to know what is going to happen. Epic themes about taking responsibility. You know, it's the archetypical anti-heroes. They are like involuntary. They just have to do what is right. They don't want the fame and glory. They just want to do what is right. And they're being pushed into these roles against their own will. It's very relatable, I was going to say, but I mean, it's relatable for everyone, all right?
Yes.
Sometimes you feel like you're a hero just for actually brushing your teeth. Like you take that toothbrush off as if it was a sword of honor, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That kind of heroism we can have, so.
Are there any like big screen adaptations of The Wheel of Time? Have they ever tried that?
I have no clue. I would say yes, and it's called Game of Thrones. It becomes more and more Game of Thrones the longer I'm into the book. As I said on an earlier episode, it's like exactly a mix between Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I have no clue. I heard there's a big following of this series online.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about it, so.
It is quite childish, I have to say. Sometimes it's so over the top that you actually get pulled out of your immersingness.
Ah.
Okay, we get it. They are like heroes. We get it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels a little bit written for a younger audience in a way, which is strange because I didn't feel that reading Harry Potter, not in one single page. Have you read Harry Potter?
I've read the first 3 books. I'm not a big reader at all. Like, I never read any books. I don't really know why. I watch the movies and I want a video game of it. I don't know what it is. I can never muster the energy to read a book. So, audiobooks perhaps. Is there an audiobook version of Wheel of Time? There's got to be, right?
Most definitely. But I almost swallowed my own tongue, Hannes. The audio version of Harry Potter with Stephen Fry.
Yeah, that's brilliant, right?
It's so brilliant. Now you're in your gaming feast.
Yeah.
You should try it once in the gym and see if it works. I don't know if that works at all, having Stephen Fry's British voice. while you're gonna push 150 kilo up in the air. Everything feels maybe too lame and chilled some way. Would that work, you think, or do you need opera music?
Yeah, I've tried. I've listened to some podcasts and stuff at the gym, but there's not a lot of adrenaline coming out of that. When I do my heaviest lifts, I always need like the Doom soundtrack or something like that to really get me pumped. But who knows? Maybe Harry Potter is the secret formula.
Listen, there is actually free. I don't know if it's a pirate thing, but if you just search for Harry Potter audiobook, there is a website that has like AdSense. It's available for free online. It looks like it's a pirate site, but I guess J.K. Rowling gets the AdSense. And they were like, oh, let's not shut this down because it's making like Bill Gates amount of money every day. So let's maybe just make a license deal with them instead or something.
Well, let's get back to my gaming, all right? Because
yeah.
as soon as I'm done with this game I'm playing now, Nier Automata, I will jump right into Far Cry 5. I bought that yesterday.
Was that the one with religious fanatics?
Yep, that's the one. It's an over-the-top, brutal action game. It's also really like made in a kind of humorous way. So basically, you're playing in Montana in USA, and a small town there has been overrun by religious fanatics. They're like kidnapping and murdering people. So it's your job to take them out. And it's over-the-top action silliness. So really looking forward to that. Blowing off some steam, playing around in a huge sandboxy world where you can drive a lot of vehicles and you can, when you're out running in the forest, bears jump and attack you.
Do you think it's gonna be like the other game you played, like a moral dilemma where you're suddenly gonna get the question, wait, is it so obvious that you're the good guy, or is it going to be like the lines between good and evil? Do you think they're gonna be blurred, or is it just...
No.
Okay, it's just like obvious. This is like a zombie shooter almost.
Yeah, heavy satire game and just over the top. It's one of those games where you just shoot people and don't care. Kind of messed up, but they usually like balance it on the right side. It feels over the top, so it's a grown-up game. No discussion about that, but a fun one, I hope. And straight after that, I'm gonna play Little Nightmares. Oh, yesterday I bought a game on my phone as well, so now as soon as I leave my office, I play on my phone also. And this, I have a feeling, will be quite the addictive game actually. I purchased Stardew Valley. I've heard about this for a long time. Basically, I think it's developed by one guy for a couple of years, and it's basically a farming / life simulator kinda, with beautiful pixelated like Super Nintendo graphics. And the basic premise of it is you start the game, you're working in a shitty job and you hate your life, and all of a sudden you inherit an old farm by your grandpa, and you're all of a sudden like, okay, I can't take this anymore, so you just jump on the bus and you start running the farm. So you start from nothing and you like start to grow some potatoes and stuff like that. And this morning I built a chicken coop, so now I have eggs also. It's just a mindfulness game, they described it as. It's not just any like boring farming simulator game, because it also have kind of a narrative also, and you have to go into the village and talk to people and make relationships and stuff like that, and some crazy stuff happens in the village you need to tend to. A couple hours ago I needed to venture down into like a mine. A guy gave me a sword, so I had to fend off some like monsters in a cavern all of a sudden before I went home and collected my eggs. So far, it's golden. A brilliant game. You can just pick up and play for like 10 minutes when you're commuting or something like that. And it can be quite addictive also. I like bought it yesterday and I think I already played 6 hours of it. So
that sounds really fun.
Yeah, slow paced, beautiful, like the retro style. Yeah, it's obviously like a spiritual follow-up to Harvest Moon, was a big game on the Super Nintendo when I was young, of like a farming game. So it's really cool, like top down, you're watching from above with this beautiful pixelated graphics. So yeah, easily worth 99 Swedish crowns for that game.
Wow. That's quite a lot for an app.
Yeah, but it's a full game, so there we go. A lot of stuff to do on my vacation. My days are full.
Did you give your farm a name, or did it already have a name?
Oh, that's the best thing. You name it when you arrive. Can you guess what I named it?
Hypeville?
No. Welcome to Tegridy Farms.
I was thinking during this conversation, and then I had to go lay some eggs, and then I went into the mine. Yeah, so it was kind of busy that it sounded exactly like a South Park episode when they play Red Dead Redemption. All the police are playing the game. Tegridy Farm, perfect.
Gotta have the obscure South Park reference somewhere, right?
I was in London once, and they had Book of Mormon by the South Park creators. And we had nothing to do for the evening. And I was like, oh, this would be so cool to see in London. And then we went to the ticket stand. They were like, yeah, we have 2 tickets left. And I'm like, okay, we're going to take them. And said, it's on 4th balcony with obstructed view. And I was like, okay. And then at the time, they were like 150 euros each. I didn't know what it cost to go on a musical. It felt like my whole travel budget,
Yeah.
for 2 tickets. I have regretted that decision that I didn't went in ever since.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still playing in US, I don't know.
It plays in London as well.
It does. Okay, should we go?
Of course we should go, but it's...
Have you seen it?
No. And I was in London like 2 years ago, and me and my brother were like, we need to go and see Book of Mormon. But it was full for like 2 months, sold out.
Yeah.
So we couldn't get any tickets. It was like scammer tickets for like 300 euros. But yeah, it's still popular. And I want to see it so badly. I think it's going to be great.
So let's plan ahead and let's book really nice tickets so we can sit and see everything. And let's plan it as a Hypetrain journey.
Oh yeah, let's do it simultaneously as we do Midnight in Paris.
Oh. Talking about Midnight, so they released an album called Monsters for 10 days ago or something. We talked about this album last episode of the Hypetrain podcast, and I've been listening to this album in my new Focal monitors in my freshly built music studio, and I called their songwriting laid back, and I have to just revisit and say that now when I've been listening more and more, I'm so impressed with what they did. And basically, a rule for any art that I found is that if it feels simple, there's even more thought behind, almost. And I don't know this band. Maybe they're just super chill people. Maybe this is just the simple songs that come out of them simply. But I feel this simplicity that they managed to produce the music for the ears with just the bass is there, the drums are there, the pads are there, the guitars are there, and the vocals are there, and everything is just like a caressing whisper almost, the whole album. And still it has so much force and pounding energy. I was so impressed. I've been actually making music in the studio for like 4-5 days.
Woohoo!
It's been really, really fun. And I feel I'd rather make music than build right now, which is actually a really nice feeling.
First stop there then. You actually succeeded with the task you set off last week. You took some days off.
Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant, Hannes. Last week I said that I was going to turn my phone off and disconnect a little bit from the internet. And it was off in a drawer for 3 days straight. And I sent a text out to everyone who needed to reach me, like you can talk to Chris, my colleague. And it was absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to try to make this something more permanent because actually, Hannes, I don't think I've procrastinated last week in any major way at all. I've been reading Wheel of Time a little bit longer in the morning, like relaxing with a book. Like the procrastination has been actual rest. That's my major problem with the wrong type of procrastination. Like my example is playing chess on chess.com. It's like, say you're waiting for a video to render or you're waiting for glue to dry in your work and you're like, okay, I have 5 minutes or like, so you go in and you play a game of chess on chess.com. You're actually not relaxing.
Yeah.
You're just distracting yourself, occupying your brain. Whereas when I'm like lying in my hangmat after biking and reading Wheel of Time, it's actually a break. I was hoping to put out this song on the Wednesday's video, but now I decided against it because I actually like the beat so much. I want to save it maybe for the album.
Yes.
I tried to make like a midnight ripoff and I didn't succeed.
That's such a big success, though, that you started with music and you actually got so hooked on it that, like, I need to work on this more. That's a good sign.
I don't know what it is, Hannes, but the mixing and production, my whole engineering adventure that I've been having the last years, and you've seen me working. I'm a kind of messy worker. I throw things in on the table in the mix or in a song. Sommarfågel had like 800 tracks at one time in the demo. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit. After cleaning up 700 tracks, there was 100 channels left, you know? Like I'm just like same with the Marble Machine X. And then I've been working with all these clean engineers who are just like, okay, we clean the work surface, we put one screw on the table, and then we carefully apply the screw, you know? And I hope that I will be able to produce music with little this more cleaner state of mind, which is why the Midnight album is so inspirational, because every sound has its purpose.
Yeah, it's not cluttered at all. It's really clean.
Yeah.
Although a lot of sounds all the time, but it's so clean.
Yeah.
And it gives me so much joy that I feel that you're longing to do more music. That it's not a pain to do it. It's just, yeah, I want to make music and I want to focus on it. And I want to make it better, like how you evolved in that aspect as well. I think it's going to be really interesting to see when you start making more quote unquote serious music, where you really get to work on it for a while.
That's the key. That's why I don't want to make any music for the videos now, because it's a big difference for me when I can mull through something. That's how my process is, that I'm staying with it for a longer time and I'm adding things and I'm removing things. It's like an iterative process to write a song for me. The melodies can come instantaneous, but then the arrangement and the production is like a craft. And I found that the more time I spend producing a song, the more interesting production I can make. So my perfectionism is still there. So I spend like 3 days on the same melody, like a maniac, 12 hours per day. But that's a good sign, because that was how I always did it. And sometimes you find it and sometimes you don't find it. So Julia from Vintergatan, who was substitute for Evelina, she was here a week ago visiting. We had a nice talk about composing process. And she said something that I needed to hear. She said, no time is wasted. Even when you spend a whole day composing and you feel when you walk off the day that you didn't dig up any gold from the ground at all, you still needed to invest that time to dig down to the gold that lies deeper.
Yeah.
That's why I need to really give myself some time. I can't just like sit down by the piano and not find any gold in the first 5 minutes and then, no, okay, so no music. I can't write music today, you know? I really need to like give myself the time, and it's going to be an issue to solve how to keep up weekly videos on our YouTube channel when I basically just need to sit down and think like the thinker statue, you know?
Yeah.
So how are we going to do that?
I have no real answers for that. And also, do we really need to worry about that now?
No, okay. After vacation.
Well, seriously, yeah. We don't know how it will look and how it will feel. Hopefully it will just come kind of gradually. And I think we will find something interesting. We need to change the format a lot, I think. But I know there's a lot of people out there who will find it super interesting just hearing your general thoughts about music also. We don't need to show them complete songs all the time, but just, letting them in slightly into the process of it all. I think there's going to be a big following of people. Oh, why did you do it this way? Why did you choose that plugin for that sound? What does that? Stuff like that. We can find educational stuff, I think. It will be a good exercise for you as well to keep up with I need to sit down and think. Perhaps I don't write a song this week, but at least I will try and I will train on it. It's the same like when you're working out. You just need to do it, even if you don't progress all the time. So perhaps that will be the thing with the videos for you. That fine line between like keeping it relaxed, but also help you be focused all the time, to just invest in your art that way.
I have the solution. We're just going to upload Hypetrain podcast.
Yes, record our video chats.
No, we just put the podcast on Wednesdays for 2 years and then the world tour starts. That's the plan, everyone.
Here we go. Woot woot.
Here we go. Woot woot.
That is something that's lacking from a lot of musicians and artists, that you don't get to follow alongside the process. To be able to follow along my favorite artists while they work, that would be awesome.
Are you sure about that? This is a really interesting discussion, Hannes, that is not just about us and Vintergatan. Are you really, really sure? Do I actually want to hear the bass player of Rage Against the Machine complain about tuning the bass? Or do I just want to be 12 years old and press play on Bombtrack for the first time and get my brains blowed out against the wall?
Probably that's how you feel, but surely there's people who just can't get enough, that want to see everything.
Yeah, so this is interesting because, like, of course, I have been a big proponent, or a word like that, of the transparent process regarding building the Marble Machine X, where I think, like, I show all my mistakes and I invite people into my line of thinking and we're learning together. But with the music, it feels the whole black box mentality, or the magic trick. Like, I go into this dark room and then I come out through the drapes with a wizard hat, and there's a bunny in the hat. Well, that's actually how all the car manufacturers make their cars, except Tesla. So maybe it's because I'm started with music and I have a kind of this occupational thing that, well, what's going on in the studio is like, should be a little magic hidden process.
Yeah, I think you can do both tastefully. I remember when Peter Jackson did his King Kong remake. They were early in the beginning of the internet almost. They started with weekly production diaries. From when they had written the script all the way to the finished movie, they just released short snippets from the sets and okay, here we're doing a model that's gonna be used later. They didn't show big reveal-y stuff from the movie, but you got the sense of, oh, I'm kinda in the production for 2 years. So when you saw the movie, you're like, I remember seeing that puppet.
Yeah.
I saw them made that. And that's a tiny piece in the background. So you had so much extra knowledge.
I totally see what you mean with the tastefully, but the tastefully is the key word, because if I could do that, I would be all for that. But that takes resources. And I'm sure that on that budget, they had a team who was working full-time with producing those. And they were in a working environment where they could go around and film, and everyone checked in with the puppet person, and it was not so disturbing. I want to make something that I can live with on the world tour for years.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the resources to do it tastefully. I agree with you, but I still don't know if it works in our case.
Yeah, I think also something we should look at is to produce more serial content. We can do more series while this is going on. We can do going to the Erlund microphone headquarters and talk about microphones. I can grab a camera and do interviews there, and we can get techie stuff and do Music Machine Monday season 2 and stuff like that while you're working also. And if you're using a certain effect or plugin on a song, you don't need to reveal the song, but we can do a deep dive on the tech side of that kind of reverb or what, something like that. Just have it educational, I don't know. Or just to find some out of the box thinking to keep the interest up.
That's great ideas. As I said in one of the videos, recording audio is something everyone has to do nowadays. So to actually have some basic, what is a compressor and what is attack time, what is release time, how does it sound when you have too much and why should you use it and stuff like that.
I'm all for that, so I can learn that also.
I'm all for that as well, but
I'm just trying to find solutions for you, Martin, here.
Yeah, and I'm just shooting them down.
Well, Martin, you have been out biking today again.
Yes.
How long? How long this time?
It's been super fun. Actually, last week we biked 76 kilometers with 1,000-meter height meters, and I was gone. It was 4 hours biking for me. I was gone after halfway, and then you have like 2 more hours.
Yeah.
And this morning we biked 60 kilometers or 59 to not exaggerate. And it felt for the first time a little bit easier. So I was so hyped. It felt like, I can do this. So now I'm going to go a few times per week probably biking. And then after the biking, I was practicing because I'm a lousy swimmer, but I checked on YouTube the correct breaststroke technique. So I'm bad at being under the water. I was always super scared for water. But with a good breaststroke technique, when you glide, you're completely under the water and then you scoop with your arms and you go up and take a quick breath and then you kick and go under again. So I'm practicing breaststroke technique and I'm biking.
And you're lifting weights as well. Like, this is so impressive. Like, you've been going strong for like a month now or something.
It's all thanks to your inspiration. It's easy when I have the accountability and inspiration from you. Like every time I do anything, the first thing I do is that I text Hannes afterwards. Look at what I did, Hannes. And he's always applauding me. Like it's so valuable.
It brings me tears every time. Yeah, but the first month is always hard to keep up with it. And you told me you did like 6 activities this week.
Yeah.
Like between swimming and biking and weightlifting. That's impressive, man. Another applaud for you.
Thank you so much. I come more and more to terms with how like unstable I am mentally.
Yeah.
And how much anxiety I have about everything really. And how insecure I am in relationships and in how to deal with other people, and if what I said 9 years ago is still awkward, Exercising is like keeping me more sane and stable.
Yeah.
As we said before on this podcast, the glass becomes half full. It looks a little bit more sunny outside.
Yeah.
Maybe you managed to get me to the point now where I start to become a little bit addicted of it.
Yeah, give it another month and you're hooked officially.
You think?
So just keep this up. Yeah, of course. But this is so impressive. And I know how stressed and how much you have worked. And you still put the time out and you really did it. Now you need a lot of cred for that. That's hard.
Thank you. And it feels like I am putting myself in front of the marble machine.
Yes.
Which I haven't done that for 5 years.
And the Marble Machine X will be better because of it. I'm sure of it. You will be able to finish it, to have the energy to do it, to find joy in it. You actually take real good breaks from it now, where you exercise and you focus on yourself. And I'm so happy when you say that you lay in your hang mat and reading Wheel of Time now. That's awesome as well. You're doing everything right now.
Thank you so much. This Klubb för inbördes beundran is the best one in the world.
The sole purpose of this podcast.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels like you're describing it. Everything else is going to be better because of it.
Yeah.
Actually, we're a little bit bad of doing stupid fun things. I think we touched this subject before.
Yes.
And being on the bike for 3 hours through these French mountain villages, it's just a feeling of being alive.
Yeah.
It's a very here and now vibe to it.
Yeah, you need to focus or else you wipe out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing I talk about when lifting heavy weights. You need to be in the moment. So it gets therapeutical and it gets meditative. And it's the same when you're going downhill really fast. If you don't focus well, you're gonna fall.
So it's interesting because of our long discussion about dopamine and addiction and chess.com and distracting yourself. If you manage to shift your habits so you can exercise instead and make the exercise the distraction, then you get all that in the end. when you do it light enough so you're not suffocating your own lust for it.
Yeah.
It's also easier in the summer. We're going to have to help each other when it becomes dark.
Yeah.
Because summer is easy.
That's my experience as well. Like almost every time that I started a health project, I always make sure to start it in the winter.
Okay.
Because it's the most difficult then. So when spring comes, it's like, oh, this is so easy and fun.
Yeah.
So I always start it when it's most miserable.
Yeah.
So it only gets better. But yeah, now we have had a couple of months where we really picked up speed. So yeah, fall and winter is going to be easy now.
Yeah.
The habit has been made then.
I hope so.
I know so.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think like the body and mind, it takes like 2 to 3 months to really like to make a new habit official. But if you're feeling right now that it's fun and it's not hard to do, then you're so good. You're on your way really fast.
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's so fun. And it's all thanks to you. Without you, I would not picked up anything of these 3 things I'm doing right now. I'm going to take a personal record in my form of bench press, which is not really close to 150 kilo. But I manage now my dumbbells are getting hard to lift up into position. When I need to increase the weight of the dumbbells, I need to kick them up with my legs, you taught me.
Yeah.
So that is going to be really fun. And I have a little mini goal with the pull-ups. And because I'm doing pull-ups, I took one of my lighting bars from my studio build and I stole it to make a pull-up bar. And I'm using a lot of rubber bands. And it's so fun because you feel strong, but you get help from the rubber bands. I'm lessening the help from the rubber bands. And I think when I can do 5 times 5 normal pull-ups without rubber bands, then we're going to get drunk together on the Hypetrain podcast celebration.
Yeah, that's amazing now. That's a big goal. That's Batman level of working out.
Maybe not, but in Martin's world.
If I could ever do 5 times 5, I will be so happy. I can barely do 1. So I'm with you, buddy. It's time to celebrate when that happens.
Are you going for that on the horizon?
If I lose 25 to 30 kilos, it will be possible. So yeah, sometime in the fall or winter or something like that, I probably will be able to do it. I have no big goals about that right now. So
how has the dieting been going?
Yeah, now it's really easy.
Yeah?
It's the first week and a half that's kind of difficult. Now I'm just keep on trucking. So now it's really easy. And my diet is fairly simple. I just cut out the carbs. So no pasta or rice for me. And I can make like big stews and stuff like that with a lot of protein in it. So yeah, I'm not suffering that much. The first week of just chicken and broccoli, that was kind of difficult in the beginning. But it was brilliant for me to just rewire my brain to like, okay, you only eat for fuel now. No pleasure in it. This is just so you can go on with your days. Like there will be, in a week, you will eat good food. And the best thing when you eat like chicken and broccoli for a week, everything tastes magical after that. So the most simplest dish becomes like holy. But yeah, I've noticed so much changes already in so many places. Like, of course, yeah, the weight is going slowly. It's still moving downwards in a nice pace. I think I'm about probably 1 kilo per week. That's my goal right now. So I've lost 6 kilos and I started dieting.
Nice.
But I've noticed so much changes in the body. Like my energy levels are off the charts. Like I am so much more energized during the day in spurts of it. So I think my body was so used to always be full of energy because I ate so much to be able to work out so hard as I did. So like the whole day I was always energized. And when I was going to bed, I was still like, I had so much energy in me, so I wasn't really tired. But now when I'm calorie deficient, I feel the effects of the meals more. So I get so much more energy during the days.
Wow.
I feel so great, actually.
So, time for me.
Yes, finally. Yes.
Now comes an applause from me, Hannes. This is now when I'm gonna return the favor from you hyping me up.
Yeah.
This is so cool, Hannes, what you are doing.
Yeah.
That you're about, it's easy now. Like, it's really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
What you're doing and where you're heading with this.
It's all about mindset, and I think this time my mind is so strong now, so I know what I have to do, and it is not really that difficult for me this time around.
That's another mic drop moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy it so far at least, so I'm just gonna keep on doing what I'm doing, and the video games are a big part. I can't stress that enough. If you're struggling with dieting, in the evenings when you're like, oh, it would be nice to eat something more, or it would be nice to have a snack or something, you're not really hungry, but you want some comfort food, play a deep, immersive video game, and you can't think about food anymore. It's so good to keep your mind off it.
You basically want a dopamine kick, and I think a video game is providing dopamine. So
Probably.
you can just get a dopamine kick from something else.
Yeah, and don't get fat while you're doing it.
Normally you would think you play those dance Jane Fonda video games, like dancing video games.
No. I make sure to get all the exercise I need. Like I take my 15 to 20,000 steps a day and go to the gym. But as soon as I get a chance, I play. And I play for like 6 or 7 hours straight. And that's not a problem. I've done what I've set out to do.
It sounds so romantic. See, for the listeners, Hannes sits in his cinema. He has a private cinema.
Yep.
With a full cinema screen, and you project your games on the cinema screen, and you have like this super huge audio system with bass and 5.1 sound.
7.1.
I'm sorry. Is it 7.1 sound in the games?
Yep. They have Dolby Atmos now, so they have support for up to, I think, like 50 channels.
Oh.
That's the future.
Wow. I'm just thinking speaker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or how would you use 50? Ding ding ding. Like the coins are in speakers 13. I don't understand. It must be really immersive.
The perfect game to show off your audio system. I just wanted to ask you, Martin, how I know I shouldn't be talking about work, but how are you feeling about work this week? Now you're in charge of doing the video all by yourself. Are you missing me at all?
Of course, I'm missing you.
Yes. I was waiting for that.
Yes. I really thought that I was going to make a song for this video, and I was working towards that. So I changed my mind yesterday. So now I'm just making a super, super simple build video where I'm trying for the first time. You know the rubber that I've been using on the funnels to make them sound less?
Yep.
Now we have bought, after 3 tries, we have got hold of the real stuff. So I have a super big bucket, and I'm dipping the stainless steel funnels straight into floating rubber and pulling them out. And I just put the first coating. It's drying downstairs right now. So I'm just making a quick and dirty, very, very simple video for this week. And the programming plates from HPS arrived 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they look crazy. And so I have a lot of cool things lined up. I have everything for the cyber wheels, for the cyber base. And I have a lot of cool build stuff to make. So I definitely missed the back and forth working with you, but I've also been enjoying from afar seeing you do these epic summer holiday vacation feeling. I actually been a little bit into vacation mode myself, in mentally anyway, with the phone off and everything. By the way, my screen time went down dramatically. I went down 69%. I'm gonna try to get it down even more for next week. And I think you're right. The bulk of my screen time on my phone is actually when I do WhatsApp web on the computer. I have my phone connected and I have the screen on the phone.
Yeah.
So you were right that my 8-hour screen time per day is basically the phone being on my desk without me looking at it.
Yep, I figured. I've seen you use your phone.
But I've heard that you are going to make Sweden great again because you're going on a tent holiday this weekend to the Swedish West Coast.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's planned for my vacation, actually. I think it's 2 days in a tent with friends and family. There's going to be me and like kids and their parents. Strange setting, but I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be so fun, I think. If they're not bothered with me, like sitting there drinking rum and coke, like I'm going to have a great time.
They're not bothered by you. They love you. I know the people you're going with there. They are the sweetest people. Hannes have this gang in Trollywood of just amazing, wonderful human beings. Every time I'm there, I feel like I'm a guest member of this gang. And I always long for the atmosphere you guys have. So
Honorary member.
Oh yeah, honorary member. That atmosphere taking into a tent setting, and it's just so much woot woot.
Yeah. And it's safe because it's like on like a camping resort. We're not heading out straight into the forest, so we have everything we need. It's just gonna be 2 cozy days.
Awesome.
It's no extreme heading out in the forest or getting lost or something like that. But that's something I want to do also. And you and me talked about it actually, to like go on some more hikes and stuff. I really want to go to like Scotland and do some walking there.
That will be so fun.
You and me, a tent, walking for 6 days.
Woot woot.
Woot woot on that. Like we can have an ongoing series while you're composing music. We're just hiking. We're hiking and talking about philosophy.
That sounds brilliant. And then you can win your step challenges by far.
Yeah, I need something like that because some of the people that are in these step challenges, they're crazy, man. They walk so much. Like I think I've been walking a lot, but I'm like in 4th place or something overall. Like some of them are really crazy. It's beautiful. They're so great.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean these step challenges are so much fun, and it really brings out the fun and beautiful in these kind of competitions.
I really want to join, but like I'm not getting any steps on the bike, so.
Yeah, they have actually added you can have competitions in activity minutes now also. For people who bike or do other activities, you can have the people with the most activity minutes wins. So that could be interesting in the future because then I can also get minutes for my gym exercise and stuff like that. So win-win.
Since you're the tournament director, you can just tweak the rules to fit yourself. It's brilliant.
Sadly, I can't. I looked into it, but I can't tweak them too much.
Okay.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Wow. I think it's time to wrap this up because I have a lot of video games to play. And only like 2 weeks left, so I need to get going. My legs are itching. I can't sit still here now. I need to play. I know like Nier Automata has a playtime for like 50 or 60 hours, and I only played 10, so I really need to get going.
Okay, sound fair enough. I'm gonna go down and dip my funnels in liquid rubber for the 2nd time.
The only thing I see in front of me is like the end scene of Terminator 2 when he's getting dipped down into lava. Or not lava, melted metal.
That's exactly how it is. Oh, speaking about melted metal, little bonus at the end. There's strong rumors now. Here comes the little Tesla section of today's podcast.
Yes, welcome to the Tesla podcast.
Volvo, a Swedish car brand that I always grew up with, has registered a Model Y for reverse engineering, which means that they've ordered a car that they're gonna break apart to just see how it's built. And I like Volvo. They went out 2 years ago saying that they're gonna go all electric pretty soon. They were the first car company of that size that went out and said, we're moving fully to electric in a couple of years. But then Elon said on Twitter when they were talking about this news that Volvo were looking at the Model Y, the Model Y that is going to be produced in Giga Berlin in Europe is the one to look out for. Finally, a true breakthrough in car manufacturing. And what we think it is the full body cast that has been this huge rumor and thing that they talked about that they want to do. So these are only rumors, and it looked like someone asked, is it full body cast? And then Elon replied, more. Like the Tesla fanboy I am, speculating at Tesla is like, that's the best. That's my happy place in my life.
And full body cast, that means basically that you make the car in one big piece, like they're doing with the Cybertruck, right?
Yeah, but the reason I brought it up is because you said molten metal, and this is an aluminium cast. So they have a special materials expert that also works at SpaceX that have managed to develop some kind of aluminium that remains its shape without heat treating after being cast, something like that. I don't know anything, but before, the largest thing you could cast was not so big, and then to cast a whole car, which means that they put vacuum in the form and then they explode the molten metal in during 40 milliseconds. So it's just boom, it just explodes in because it needs to fill the form so fast. And if it's true that they can just take this big molding form that's going to be big like a house and just go boom, and out comes an aluminium car in one piece, that is going to be so amazing. And I'm so excited for this to happen in Europe and in Berlin. I mean, it's, I don't know. This just gets me going. I don't know why.
Wow. Well, that has been the Tesla podcast. And also the Hypetrain podcast as well. It's been a pleasure talking to you as always, my friend.
Thank you, Hannes. The same.
Let's do it next week.
Woot woot.
Chugga, chugga, chugga.
Woot woot.
Yes.